Hey there everybody, it's Kelly with Kellyscards.ca and welcome to this week's What's in My Stash. This week I'm going to talk about hot glue guns. And this is a really inexpensive tool. In fact, you can buy these at the dollar store as well as the glue for the guns at the dollar store. Places like Michael's, Walmart, basically everybody sells hot glue guns. And they're an excellent tool to have in your stash. This glue gun is Art Minds glue gun, and I got this at Michael's. It wasn't overly expensive. I have bought all the way from the dollar store glue guns all the way up to fairly expensive glue guns. And really, for what I do, something like this is perfect. I think this was maybe $4 or $5. I really get a lot of use out of this hot glue gun. I just want to talk quickly about some things that go with the hot glue gun. I bought this stand not that long ago, and it's supposed to sit like this, but I find this stand very kind of flimsy, and it really doesn't hold things. Like this continually knocks over, so this really wasn't a good purchase. So what I've done is I bought this little mat, and literally I can leave it like this while it's on and nothing's gonna burn, and all the excess glue that comes out of the gun will go onto this instead of my work surface. And I kind of prefer this better to something like this stand. There are other stands and there are other pouches that you can put on the side of your desk. Literally it's the same material as this. This feels like a silicone. And of course we know that silicone is used in a lot of baking stuff these days, baking pans, so it's not really going to catch on fire, and it's a nice safe thing to use with this. So this is the method I like to use when my hot glue gun is on. It is sitting on here, and then I can just grab this. One complaint I guess I can say about almost all hot glue guns is they usually have a little stand here. I don't like the stands. They usually fall off or fall apart or are crooked. So that's why I love this little mat. I can just leave this on here and do my crafting. So I would like to show you how I use the hot glue gun. And when you have little metal elements or things you would like to put on cards, using a hot glue gun is probably one of the better adhesives. So take this flower for instance. Once I thread this brad through the flower, I can now put hot glue on here and attach this flower straight to my card. And by doing this, now I don't have to thread the brad through the paper and worry about anything ripping or scratching on the card. Basically, it's on the outside of the card, and it's just hot glued to the surface of the card here. So I do this all the time. I have never adhered a flower pretty much any different way other than hot glue. So really like that idea. Also, little elements like these little wooden stars. Sometimes I find hot glue a good way to adhere those down. There's also other things like these little hearts and that. To adhere them down, you really want to make sure they're stuck. I do not recommend that you take the hot glue gun and actually add it right to the piece. Add it right to the card and then put your element down, because you don't want to burn yourself. I have burnt myself quite a few times with hot glue. In fact, once fairly severely in here. And yeah, it was not a fun time. So make sure when you're using your hot glue gun, you're doing it safely. Keep the hot part away from your fingers. Always put it down on your project opposed to little pieces like this. And of course, you can also use hot glue with adding buttons. Sometimes I will add a button to a card or a project, and I really like the hot glue for that because it's not going to come off. So I like that for that reason as well. I'm going to bring this mat back in and just talk about something really cool you can do with a hot glue gun. So first of all, to go through the things you can do with it, not only attaching your flowers and your little embellishments, you can use this on felt. If you're making little felt flowers or anything with felt, this works really well as well. Any metal elements, it helps stick onto your projects really well. And of course, there are different glue sticks here. You can buy colored ones, so you'd get colored dots or colored glue. But another idea, I've seen some people, they've used crayons in here. They've melted crayons and got some color that way. But I saw something cool on Pinterest and I thought I would share it here. So the person made circles with their glue dots, and then they let them dry, and then they painted them, and literally it was like enamel dots. So this is an excellent idea of how you can use this to help embellish your cards. And the last idea is you can buy, again, silicone molds, and then you can fill it with the hot glue, flip it over, and then also use that on your project. So if you have a mold with hearts or flowers, you can just fill it with the hot glue, and once it cools, you can take it out of that mold. You can either paint it or leave it or ink it, and then add that to your project. So this is a really great tool, and once again, this is a very inexpensive tool. These sticks are very inexpensive as well, and I have to say, I just love this tool. I think it is a must-have because of all of its uses, but again, it is on the cheaper side of the tools, and I would highly recommend this for anyone. I hope this gives you some ideas on how to use this hot glue and really the importance to have one of these in your stash. Again, it doesn't cost very much and it is so useful. So thank you for joining me for this week's episode in What's in My Stash. You can check me out on my website at Kellyscards.ca. You can subscribe for more videos, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.